What is up, guys? Zach Ginn here.
What's up, guys? Rick Ginn.
And in today's video, we're going to break down the biggest scams in wholesaling real estate.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, well, we're going to expose some people today and really get to the bottom of all these things you see in wholesaling real estate. And hopefully in this video, we can save some people from falling for these scams in wholesaling. And I just think there's so many of them out there that we need to address it.
Okay, let's go.
So let's go. So the first scam that I've seen is expensive list pulling. There's so many services out there that say for 30 cents a record, I'll give you high equity leads. And it's, in my opinion, a huge scam. I mean, why would you pay 30 cents for lead polling when you get the same one from either like Batch or ListREI.com?
So this has been going on forever. So back in the old days, actually it was easier to go and get your county records and then pay someone to help you sort it out. Because guys, at the end of the day, all these records come from your local counties and cities.
Yeah.
These services take the data, they pay a fee, and then they extrapolate it in their filters. So the claim is everyone thinks, I have better filters than everybody else. There's so many variables that go into a list. Here's all I ever rely on is if I've purchased a list or even if I got one for free, if I've tried it and it's worked, then I try to stick to it. If I try it and it fails, and don't get me wrong, guys, every now and then a list will fail.
Yeah.
But I always like to stick with the stuff that works. So if you're ever going to vary from a list, my recommendation is to split test it to see if you're getting authentic data.
That's the way to do it. I mean, you've seen it from even our Facebook groups is, oh, I'm alas, I'm a VA and I can pull you stuff from Fiverr of lists that are motivated. And let me tell you the honest truth, what they're going to do is they're going to go to ListREI.com.
Yeah.
Because it's like 2 cents. They're going to charge you 20 cents and just make 18 cents per record. And then you feel great. Like, this is great data. Like, you get for 2 cents. So guys, most of the time, ListREI.com is the best. Another big scam here, I would say, is ListSource. Now, you can get ListSource for 3 cents with some interesting hacks, but for most of them, they're going to charge you 30 cents. I think it's a scam.
The funny thing is, like, if you price it and I price it and we're in the same market, it just depends on when you click the button on how much they charge you for the data. So there was a time that we used CoreLogic, which is ListSource. That's just what we used. That's all we had. And you had to do it like very carefully. And it was 10 to 15 cents a record if you like used it on a regular basis. And then fast forward to, a lot of these people claim I have a master account and you can share it.
Oh my gosh.
It's ridiculous. They never got permission to get those master accounts. And what they were is getting sub accounts. Listen, that's great. But the problem was ListSource now, it's not great data and you have to pay for it before you even get it. So ListREI.com solves all that. It's the number one recommended we use.
But it's not the only one.
It's not the only one.
Batch Leads has a great one.
Batch Leads has a great one.
Property Radar is great. There's some really good ones out there. I'm just saying.
I don't use ListSource anymore. It doesn't work. Now you can use ListSource to check data counts before you pay for it. But
we have some of that in free wholesaling, like data wise, but it's another big scam. The number one here I can tell you pretty close to us is expensive skip tracing. Now, Batch is like close to 10 to 12 cents. Some decent places are like 15 cents. There's people paying for like 1,000 records, 50 cents for skip tracing. It is.
I don't want to tell you what I pay when I started doing that. It's $1.50.
Of course, but it's we're in 2022. Like, this is way in the future. There's just people that like, oh, for skip tracing, I love these people. I'll give you skip tracing for 5 cents each. That's a big scam too, because they're just using True People search, which is free. Yeah.
And then a lot of them are based on, a lot of these have multiple phone numbers you can pull on. So like sometimes I've seen services, if it pulls 3 phone numbers and they're charging 5 cents, you just paid 15 cents for that record. Yeah. Some pay for like leads that don't hit at all. And some only pay for the ones that you do for.
Those are important. It's very important that they do that because a lot of them don't.
Yeah, there's a lot of variables. So just make sure you're matching apples for apples when you do it because
you also got to make sure that it's actually credit bureau data. So they're pulling it from like an IDI or TLO. you don't want it from like mymamasbasement.com to get like the stuff.
And that's the problem. When you use people that you're not familiar with, you have no idea where they're scraping the data from, and you're paying for it. Just, buyer beware.
100%. I can't agree more. People that saying skip tracing online in these Facebook groups. These VAs, they are relentless.
It's let me tell you what,
they do not stop.
They hammer me. They hammer any of our groups, especially our Facebook group.
I have thousands of them banned in my group.
Yeah,
and
they sneak in, and then they hit you on the private messenger or direct, and they just won't stop. And then once they get your email, and I gotta tell you, man, like I think there's a new level of they're aggressive.
They should work for me.
Oh my God. I'm just
it's
they
insane.
are relentless. Every day I've got 3 or 4 messages from ones, and I have everything's new, it's blocked, it's private, and they still get through to me.
It's
and
crazy.
then the real aggressive ones, I'll sit there and call you.
Oh, yeah.
and the thing about VAs is, not to go real deep in them, but they're aggressive. That's great. Guys, you don't know how many clients they have. So if they got 50 clients, and you think you're getting a deal at $4, you're getting killed.
Yeah.
And so the biggest thing, if you want to hire a VA and the opportunity to go, wow, they just dropped in my inbox, you need to find out how many clients they have.
Yeah.
And you better make sure you can do like screen captures to prove you should be their only client. That's my opinion. So.
I would agree 100% there. The next ones where I think I'm passionate about, you're passionate, is gurus and coaching. Wholesaling real estate with freewholesaling.com, which is out there right now. There's no reason to pay for coaching. Like the amount of YouTube, you don't even need it, but just, it's insane.
For wholesaling specific, 100%, guys. You guys always hear me saying it. It's like learning your ABCs. It's the basic skill set to get started in real estate investing. And to me, it minimizes your risk. It is the perfect way to get in. So why would someone pay $5,000 or $10,000 to learn wholesaling? I'm telling you, actually, I'm going to give you guys a shock here. Wholesaling it's mechanical, but it's just a mindset, a lot of it, and just getting the confidence level to get up and do it. But I'm just telling you, if I pay someone $1,000, $3,000, $5,000 or $10,000, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And in the end, when you pay them, it's on you to get the job done. So the biggest complaint we see with gurus is, well, okay, I handed you my $5,000, Zach. What do I do? And they say, well, you got to start marketing. Well, you just took my last $5,000. I don't have any money. Well, you're going to do this little thing called sweat equity. It was and it's going to be brutal.
I love sweat equity.
Yeah.
I preach it, but those are the people who have no money and don't have money for coaching.
So the number one problem with gurus coaching students, because I hear this in masterminds, because I listen to all of them, is they don't have any money for marketing.
Yeah.
So what's more important to you, to learn the basics of wholesaling and have some money to do marketing, or pay a coach $5,000 or $10,000 and have no money for marketing? The coaches know you're in the hole when you give them your last dime.
Oh yeah.
And when you take on a payment plan, the guy's telling you, or the gal's telling you, you have no money for marketing, and that should be disclosed up front.
Oh yeah.
Very rarely do they talk about you need a marketing budget like when you get started on it. So we, like using freewholesaling.com, is we solve that problem for you. I'm not taking your money. Whatever you planned on spending with me, you spend it on marketing.
That's
and you got to run.
100%.
So if I had to go back in time in 2003 when I started it, I'd take every nickel and put it towards marketing.
Oh yeah.
Because guys, wholesaling is not that hard.
No.
People just complicate it. You got to make it simple, and you just got to take action and do it.
I agree. They make it so, the coaching, I just don't do it. The next here is, a little part of it is events and masterminds. Most events and masterminds you go to, most of them are scams. Like the little boot camp workshop where they put you on the boat for 3 hours out of the 4-hour thing.
Yeah. Listen, I love the networking of it. I love seeing friends and all that. But like when I go to a real estate thing, guys, I want to walk away with something and do something.
Yeah.
I can go on to any fancy hotel. I can go to any fancy destination. I can get on a boat. I can ride in a nice car. I can go to any fancy restaurant just like you.
But you can write it off.
Yeah. Guys, listen, I love everybody in real estate, but in the end of the day, I'd rather do that stuff with my family and friends.
Yeah.
If I go to a real estate conference or something like that, if it's 2 days, I want to be submersed for 2 days.
100%.
Let me give you an example. You ever been to a Tony Robbins event, right?
Yes.
The man buries you for 12 hours a day, and you got to run out and grab food and come back in. That's what you want to go to an event. If you're going on a boat or something like that, they're running out of ideas to do it with you. And the code word for mastermind, while we're on this, it used to be boot camp.
Yeah.
Boot camp got worn out so bad. Now it's a mastermind. The problem with that is a mastermind is supposed to be a natural, organic setting that you meet up with someone and you guys exchange an idea and you help each other's out.
Yeah.
Fast forward to now, a mastermind, you give someone a huge chunk of money. By the way, $5,000 is very, very popular now for a weekend getaway.
Yeah.
And then here's the problem. You're doing yoga. You're doing boat tour, meditation. Guys, I love all that stuff. But stay in your lane, Mike. Stay in your lane. Teach real estate. Teach what you do best. Yeah. All the other stuff. I don't want to learn meditation from a real estate guy. It's just, I just don't want to do it. Like, I know you're not the best at it.
Yeah.
And so boot camp turned into mastermind. So I'm trying to anticipate mastermind starting to get abused. So I'm wondering where that's going to go. True. So if you guys can help me come up with a word for that one.
It's great. The next one here, I think, this is kind of old school type wholesaling, but I think a lot of RIAs are scams. They're just trying to get coaching and low level at that.
Now, I used to run a local RIA, and
some of them are good. Just I feel like some of them are just not good, and they don't have your best interest at mind. A lot of them, you go there, they don't want to give you the best info.
You know what the biggest problem I find with RIAs is a lot of them start out with the right mission.
Yeah.
And it usually comes down to whoever founded it.
Yeah.
If you're in a RIA where the person found it, stick with it. It usually works well. They have authenticity. And those are usually laser focused towards wholesaling.
True.
The minute they change hands, they go, oh, let's get a broader audience. They attract realtors. They attract just regular investors. And next thing you know, you're on a bus going to Home Depot to look at sinks. Guys, you don't want to be doing that. So if you're going on bus tours to look at properties and go to Home Depot or Lowe's, you're in the wrong RIA. Like, that is not wholesaling. They're trying to do like a flip this show. And I don't know about you, but wholesaling has nothing to do with that. It really has nothing to do with that. So use those tips. Most of them are trying to peddle a lot of courses. Some are better than others, but as I said, you find the original founder, you probably got a solid one. You get one that exchanges 4 or 5 hands. Watch out, because I go to them. I used to go to them all the time. I'm like, what do you guys do? Like, I don't understand what we're doing. Are we flipping houses or are we referring real estate agents? It was just like, we're doing hard money. And then a guy will tell you how to do a rehab. And I go, man, it's just really distracting. And it took me away from wholesaling. So I don't think they're all bad. There's some amazing people across the country that are the original founders. And guys, I'm going to give you full disclosures. I don't think they make a lot of money.
No.
So you either have to be very passionate about it, or you have to sell something you don't believe in if you buy a RIA from someone like that, which
I agree.
Ludicrous. So
it's nuts. I think the next one here, which no one talks about at all, these VA do it for you all services, where they'll train the VA, hand it off to you, and then they won't train it anymore and say, good luck. I think those are scams.
I agree. There's
hey, I'm going to train a VA for you. They're going to do acquisitions. They're just going to close for you. Yeah. Just give it a lead. It'll close it.
I would never turn my business over to that.
And I've seen the back end. These people train them for like 2 weeks and that's it.
Yeah.
On their system.
And these people are, so let me get this straight. A VA, you're going to train them and they're going to close all your clients over the phone.
Oh yeah.
From 3,000 miles away. And they're going to know all the customs of your local market. Guys, if it sounds too good to be true, it usually is.
Yeah.
End of story. VAs have their place, don't get me wrong. And then if you get one and they show good faith and they can do things, you can expand it. But past answering phones and doing data work, you're turning your business over to someone on the other side of the country that has complete control of everything you have. And this is where we're seeing a lot of problems with VAs, like cross-pollinating, Hey, I'm going to use Zach's skip trace service, and then I'm going to use Rick's. I'll use his prop stream account to get lists for other people, and then that's where you can get in a lot of trouble with it.
I agree.
If it sounds too good to be true, it usually is. And even if you get one trained 2 weeks, you're going to have to spend another 2 months getting them up to par and speed. So just if you're going to have a VA, I would compartmentalize them and keep them in their lane till they prove it. If you just hand them over to your sellers right off the bat, you guys are spending too much time and money on marketing. You can't let your VA just take over.
I agree 100%. And the next one here is these unknown equity lists. I feel like people pushed unknown equity lists really hard.
Yeah.
It was the new secret sauce. It was the greatest thing since sliced bread. And we tried it. We got no good results. And a lot of people weren't. And some people still push this. I just don't think it's that good of a list.
Well, I've split tested this so many times, and there's no way to prove the data works. So what better way to sell it than just throw it? Because who knows what it is? So unless you take an equity list all by itself and run it for 1 year, that's the only way you can test the data.
I agree.
So I've split tested, but the problem is it's like all over the board.
Yeah.
I feel like you're kind of wasting your money. Unknown means, I think what it means is somebody screwed up, and we're going to put it in this category.
Yeah.
So I'm just not like a big fan of it. I think you left one thing off the list though.
What?
When we talk about gurus and coaching, how do you feel about people who coach stuff that's not real estate related? Fitness, health, crypto, Forex.
Oh my gosh.
What's the other one? There's another one.
E-commerce, Walmart stores,
Amazon FBA,
Shopify. Oh, I started that a year ago. And,
Yeah.
oh my gosh.
My 10 is, if you're ever going to work with someone paid or not, make sure they stay in their lane, meaning they do what they do best. If they're always going to go around and try to find the latest, greatest thing, they're going to treat real estate the exact same way.
Hey, I just started wholesaling last year on my course. Come on. And the e-commerce thing's so much easier to fake than wholesaling. So much easier.
Yeah. I'm just saying, if I see someone giving me crypto advice or financial stock advice, I literally will shut them down like right there, because to me, you got to earn your badges.
I agree.
You had a good run during a good market. And guys, for the most part, most gurus, most of them started from 2013 on. Mm-hmm. This has been like a rocket ship. It will eventually change.
You've been saying that since 2017. You have been saying that since 2017.
Okay, I'm just.
What do you? Everyone thinks the market's going to crash. I'm like,
I'm not saying it's going to crash, but it's you. Everybody looks like a hero when the ship just keeps shooting up.
I agree.
So what do they do when the ship runs out of gas?
They run.
They run. They scurry like cockroaches, and they go and do all these other things. The people that stick with it do the best. You go through some challenging time, but remember, in wholesaling, those are opportunities for us, and that's what you want. I'm just saying, stick to people that stick with what they do best. If they're constantly looking for the hottest, latest thing, you got to wonder, okay, what did they teach me about wholesaling? Because now they're trying. That means their wholesaling's failing, and wholesaling's it's phenomenal right now. Like, why would you ever leave it to go do Forex or anything like that?
I agree.
Anyways, that's my 2 cents on it.
Yeah, I mean, those are the biggest scams in wholesaling real estate. It needs to be addressed. I feel like we addressed it pretty well.
Yeah.
Hopefully we could stop these people, but I don't think we will. They're not going to. Those VAs ain't going to stop. They're going to just go probably harder after seeing this.
The VAs are relentless. And guys, keep in mind that the VAs have access to all your stuff. So you need to go down and make sure you got private passwords. There's a lot of software features you can use so you can cut them off when it goes south on you.
We're not calling VAs scams. I'm just saying the services. But that's it, guys. I truly appreciate you guys watching this. If you had any value you got from it, please smash that like button and subscribe. Truly appreciate it. We'll see you on the next video.
Thanks, guys. See you.
Thanks.